Hi guys, this is your girl Wakeji Kamore and welcome to Reflections by Wakeji Kamore. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on the time that you get to listen to this. Thank you so much for tuning in today and for staying with me in this Bible summary. Remember, if this podcast is good for you, it could be good for someone else, so share the link with as many people as you can. Today we'll be covering Numbers chapter 29, which is a continuation of the refresher crash course on the sacrifices that were to be made. Let's read on and see what's happening. Again, I'll be summarizing because these are things that we've already read before, but kindly do stay with me. So Numbers chapter 29 is where God commanded that in the 7th month during the first day, the Israelites were to have sacred assembly. No regular work was to be done on that day, and this was to be a day when they sounded the trumpets. Offerings were to be made to the Lord, such as 7 male lambs, 1 ram, and 1 young bull. During this same month, but during the 10th day, the Israelites were to hold another sacred assembly. They were not to do any regular work and also to deny themselves, which was to fast. Offerings were to be made to the Lord, which included 7 male lambs, 1 ram, and 1 young bull. A sin offering of 1 male goat was also to be provided. During the same month, that was what I've just read was a day of atonement, and now we're going to be talking about the festival of the Tabernacles. During the same month, but during the 15th day, the Israelites were told to have an additional sacred assembly, as well as they were not to do any regular work. They were to celebrate this festival for 7 days and to honor God. The first day offerings included 14 male lambs, 2 rams, and 13 young bulls. Also, a sin offering of 1 male goat was to be offered. The second day offering were to be 14 male lambs, 2 rams, 12 young bulls. And then the third day offering were to be 14 male lambs, 2 rams, and 11 bulls. The fourth day offering were to be 14 male lambs, 2 rams, and 10 bulls. Gosh, I feel like I'm just reading many numbers of animals. This fifth offering was to be 14 lambs, 2 rams, and 9 bulls. The sixth day offering was to be 14 males, 2 rams, and 8 bulls. The seventh day offering were to be 2 rams, 14 lambs, 2 rams, 14 lambs, and 7 bulls. Wow. And then again, the last festival that was spoken about was the festival of the closing assembly. A special closing assembly was to be held during the 8th day. They should not do any regular work, and offerings were to be included. The offering that was to be included were 7 male lambs, 1 ram, and 1 bull. Besides the Israelites' vows and free will offerings, God said they were to provide these offerings at their appointed festivals. Moses told all the Israelites that this is what God had commanded them to do. Wow, that is just basically the end of chapter 29. And as you can see, it has a lot of sacrifices, a lot of feasts, a lot of ceremonies and events, and a lot of sacrifices happening. So many animals dying. But anyway, then a few things that I noticed from this refresher course that is happening in chapter 28 and chapter 29 on the sacrifices that were to be made. Let me quickly go through them before I can finalize this. All right, so number 1, in addition to being fully focused to God at all times, the daily, weekly, and monthly sacrifices were a clear indication of God's desire to be in a relationship with his people. God desires to have a relationship with us. And daily, he waits for us to spend time in his presence. So remember, before you dismiss this whole festivals and daily offerings, remember that this shows the character of God, that God actually desires to have a relationship with us, and he daily waits for us to spend time in his presence. Number 2, the Sabbath and the festival events were a gift of rest for his chosen people, and also a way of people to be together and to celebrate together. If you notice in the festivals of the trumpets and the festival of the tabernacles, there was a lot of people should rest. People should not do any work. So these events and these festivals were actually a gift to the people of Israel, because that means that they could rest, that they could take a break from the things that they used to do, just so that they can come together, celebrate together, make merry, and just have a good time together. It was a way of people living within a community, of people having a community that surrounds them and not just doing life by themselves. And that is why we celebrate these festivals, things like Christmas, things like Easter, because these festivals are, number one, a way for us to rest, because I know that I enjoy Easter break, I know that I enjoy Christmas break, and the fact that I rest from work and I celebrate with people. I come together with my family, I come together with my friends, and just celebrate just that community and just be together in that celebratory mood. And that was basically a gift that God gave his people. The other thing that I noticed is that the daily, weekly, and monthly sacrifices were a way to create a daily routine, which then brings structure, it brings discipline and consistency to our lives. If you look at your life, for everything that you are consistent in, for everything, even if you're consistent in eating, for everything that you're consistent in, you learned how to do it as a routine first. So first you have to learn how to do something as a routine. Wake up every day, do this, brush your teeth before you sleep. This is what you do before you sleep. This is what you do when you wake up. And everything that you have learned and you have become consistent and disciplined in, you first had to learn it as a routine. And that is why there was a daily, the weekly, and the monthly sacrifices. It was a way for God to help us come up with a routine, to help us come up with structure, with discipline, and with consistency. So those are the three things that I have seen in these scriptures in chapter 28 and 29. And I know there are many other things. So let us not be too quick to dismiss the ways of the Old Testament, but instead spend time reading the chapter. Spend time reading chapter 28, 29, and even the other chapters that you have not read, because you're like, oh my God, so many sacrifices. Don't be too quick to dismiss the ways of the Old Testament, but instead let us look keenly and see the character of God in these chapters, and see the character of God in these sacrifices. And we can just also look at them and take great lessons from these chapters. This is your girl, Wakeji Kamore, and this has been Reflections by Wakeji Kamore.